Israeli troops launching raids in the West Bank tonight. A major military operation underway as the Middle East braces for more violence. I'm Gadi Schwartz, and this is Stay Tuned Now. It is being called one of the largest raids by Israeli forces on the West Bank in 20 years. For now, it is shifting some of the spotlight from Gaza onto this specific Israeli-occupied territory. And the IDF is saying those raids started overnight and are part of a counterterrorism operation focused on infrastructure used by militants, while Palestinian health officials say at least 10 people have been killed so far. Israeli ground soldiers were supported by Israeli fighter jets and drones and went after 3 areas simultaneously. NBC's Danielle Hamanjan joins us now from Jerusalem. Danielle, we've seen IDF raids in the West Bank before, but how is this different and why this sudden escalation?
Yeah, these raids do happen almost every night. They usually take a few hours. They're usually quite small in scope, and they don't involve various units of the IDF, but that's not the case here. The IDF has called this a major counter-terrorism operation, and they say it was launched in response to what they say is a wave of escalating terrorist activities. They cite the increasing use of IEDs under roads, under infrastructure, and they say that they've identified efforts by Iran of trying to smuggle in weapons and explosives into the West Bank. Now, the Israeli foreign minister, saying today that Iran is working to set up a terrorist front against Israel in the West Bank, following the model of Gaza and Lebanon. Now, as we speak now, this raid is still ongoing. We've just received word that the Jenin camp, that residents inside have had their water, electricity cut off. In another camp, we understand that the IDF is going house to house, detaining young men and taking them to a site on the outskirts of the camp for interrogation. Now, the camps have been completely sealed off. Nobody can go in, certainly not journalists. But what I can tell you, having spent some time in one of those camps, the Jenin refugee camp, I've spent some time speaking to members of Islamic Jihad. And the first thing that they will tell you is that as long as it's going to be an Israeli occupation, there will be an armed resistance. And in their own words, they say that this is their own way, the only way, they say, to live in dignity. And it's not about geopolitics to them. It's about their daily lives. Their allegiance to Islamic Jihad, for example, is not based on ideology. It's based on funding. Who gives them the weapons? Who gives them the money? It is Iran. And what fuels their anger, they say, for example, the expansion of Israeli settlements, the sharp rise in Israeli settler violence. They'll cite the threats and the provocation of holy sites, Muslim holy sites in Jerusalem. Add to that the poverty, the high unemployment rate, and you've got this cocktail of generating hostility against Israel over years and years and decades.
And Danielle, the video that we were just playing, we're talking about raids, but we're also showing this video from earlier in those areas from today, and they show bulldozers going through these heavy pieces of machinery and equipment, ripping up the roads there. Can you give us some insight into what we're seeing? Like, how is this part of a military operation?
Well, I mean, it's almost like an earthquake zone, to be honest, in some of those camps. And let's be clear, when we talk about camps, they're not tents. These are concrete camps. And in the case of the Jenin refugee camp, for example, they call it Little Gaza. This is the heart of the Palestinian resistance in the West Bank. And you would see on most walls outside the homes, you'd see bullet holes. And for the people there, they're like scars of their battles against the Israeli forces. And it happens night after night. Some of those homes are destroyed as punishment for the actions of their sons or brothers. And that's just the reality they've known for a very long time. And this raid, as I say, started nearly over 24 hours ago now, and it's still ongoing.
And Danielle, what are Palestinian officials saying about what we're seeing now?
Well, you've got Mahmoud Abbas, the head of the Palestinian Authority, who cut short a trip to Saudi Arabia, and he called it a dangerous concept, that this warning that this will have dangerous consequences and that it will not bring any stability. Of course, you ask anybody in the West Bank, any Palestinian, their thoughts on Mahmoud Abbas. They do not take him very seriously. He's lost their respect a long time ago. They'll be looking for an international reaction, and there has been some. The Egyptians have condemned the raids. The Egyptians, of course, are mediators in the ceasefire talks. Turkey has condemned it as well. The top EU diplomat saying, and I quote, that this operation in the occupied West Bank must not constitute the premises of a war extension from Gaza. And the United States have also said that they support Israel's right to defend itself, but that it must do so in a way that limits civilian casualties. On that point, I am going to highlight one incident that happened, in fact, in Jenin back in June. You might remember it. It did make the rounds around it circulated on social media around the world. It prompted condemnation by the State Department, and it showed the IDF strapping an innocent Palestinian man to a jeep, effectively using him as a human shield. So we're back in Jenin. People will be watching very closely how this all unfolds.
Danielle, your context is always so important. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And let's bring in NBC News military analyst, Colonel Jack Jacobs. Colonel, thank you so much for being with us. I wanted to ask you, I mean, we keep seeing this video of some heavy equipment going through and ripping up roads there. Do you have any insight into what's going on there?
Well, the IDF says that the purpose of it is to clear areas in front of infantry troops and armored troops of mines and improvised explosive devices. There's an old tactical imperative that says never go down a road or a trail until you've cleared it to the front and to the flanks to the maximum effective range of your weapons. To the extent that we didn't do that ourselves in combat areas, we lost a lot of troops, and the IDF is saying that that's exactly what they're doing here, clearing the area.
That's a lot of infrastructure there. And in your view, how significant of an escalation is this?
Well, very significant from probably two standpoints. The first is the size of the force. It is supposed to be a raid or a series of raids. 1,000 troops is a fairly substantial number of troops, even for a series of raids. So this has been planned for some time. They had good intelligence, and they had specific targets they wanted to go after, but 1,000 troops is a large number of troops. But the second thing that's of significance in many people's minds is the IDF's advertising the size of the force. And one can conclude probably there's a cogent argument that says that both the size of the force beyond its tactical requirements and advertising the size of the force is for Iran's benefit. And Iran's involvement on the West Bank is something that the IDF and Israel generally wants to thwart, Gadi.
And what do we know about Iran's involvement in the West Bank?
Well, heavy involvement, just as it is elsewhere in the region. Materiel, ammunition, weapons, tactical training, and guidance with advisors to terrorist groups such as Islamic Jihad and others there in the West Bank. You know, Iran's modus operandi is to use others, to use proxies to achieve their both tactical and strategic aims. That's why we see Iranian support of the Houthis, of Hamas, of Hezbollah, and of organizations inside the West Bank. And we will continue to see that because Iran itself does not want to get decisively engaged either with the United States and its allies, and certainly not with Israel either. Unless and until it develops nuclear weapons, then things are going to change. But in the meantime, they will continue to use proxies to achieve their aims, Gadi.
And always in the background when it comes to the West Bank or the Israeli settlements there, I know that the U.S. State Department announced some sanctions when it came to settlement violence. How is that going to have an impact on what we're seeing?
Probably none, little to none. These kinds of sanctions are going to be are very few. they're not going to have a positive impact on the situation there. And nothing will, at least partially because Netanyahu is supported on the right by those settler groups and those in the Knesset who support and represent the settler groups. And as long as that continues to happen, as long as Netanyahu has that support, there won't be any crackdown on settler violence, even though there are those in the Knesset, even though there are those more moderate voices in the government, in the coalition government, who are imploring the government to crack down on these settlers. But I don't think that any of these sanctions are going to have any positive effect. Certainly not now, when Israel feels as if it's being attacked from now 3 fronts. That's its perception and reality, actually. And Netanyahu continues to have the upper hand in governing and in making sure that Israel is safe and defeats its enemies. Gadi.
We'll continue to watch all of this escalate. Colonel, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And turning now to something that happened at Arlington National Cemetery, a place that's seen its fair share of visits by presidents and former presidents. But apparently, during a visit this week by former President Trump, some sort of scuffle broke out between those charged with taking care of the cemetery and the Trump campaign. And NBC's Garrett Hake has the latest.
Gadi, what started as a report of an altercation between a Trump campaign staffer and staff at Arlington National Cemetery has turned into a much more interesting story, frankly, about how the Trump campaign may have used an invite from a Gold Star family, essentially the mother of a fallen Marine from Abbey Gate, as an opportunity to come to Arlington National Cemetery and then produce campaign content, something that the cemetery says is against federal law and against their policy, and something that they told the Trump campaign, which may have been what led to that altercation, which ultimately involved a report being filed to military police. Now, the Trump campaign says they were just there on the invitation of the mother of a Marine who was killed at Abbey Gate. I asked her for her take on all of this earlier today. What would you say to people who may be pro-Trump, anti-Trump, whatever their politics might be, who just feel like that's not a place for politicians or for politics?
I would have to say, are you in my shoes? I invited him. My son was murdered under the Biden-Harris administration.
The Harris campaign, for what it's worth, has tried to breathe some life into this controversy, calling it expected and sad, and also trying to tie it to other comments that Donald Trump has made seeming to disparage veterans in the past. J.D. Vance firing back on that pretty strongly today, suggesting that the vice president could go to hell. It's a direct quote and not one you often hear from presidential or vice presidential candidates. Gadi, I don't think we've heard the last about this story.
Certainly not. Garrett Hake, thank you. And today, the Supreme Court decided to keep blocking President Biden's latest plan to cancel student loan debt. The court has denied an emergency request filed by the Biden administration to put the plan back into play after lower courts blocked it this summer as a result of a challenge from GOP-led states. And that leaves in limbo some 8 million borrowers currently enrolled in the Biden administration's plan known as SAVE, which offered lower monthly payments and quicker paths to cancellation. Meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate Governor Tim Walz kicked off a 2-day bus tour in Georgia. Now, Harris and Walz are hoping to repeat President Biden's 2020 win there in what's historically been a red state by focusing on rural voters outside the Atlanta area, but it will not be easy. Remember, Georgia was a Republican stronghold for almost 30 years before 2020 when Biden won it by just 12,000 votes. Let's bring in NBC's Mike Mimley from Georgia. Mike, can you talk us through this bus tour? What's it look like, and what does the Harris campaign have to do here?
Well, Gadi, we're seeing a little bit of coalition work on the part of the Harris-Walz ticket since they arrived here in Savannah. As soon as they got off Air Force 2, you saw them pose for a photo with some students from a historically black college in the area. They then went to a high school, enjoyed a little bit of a performance from the marching band, and then they did some retail at a local restaurant. So this is all hitting different constituencies of voters that are all really critical to that winning formula here in Georgia. My favorite stat, Gadi, the Harris campaign is saying that this is the first time there has been a general election campaign event in this part of the state since the mid-90s. This is a campaign that wants to show it's on offense, really trying to expand the battleground map.
Yeah, but it's also, this is Georgia. I mean, what is the latest polling saying right now? And do they really have a chance?
So the last poll we have is from the New York Times in Siena. It showed former President Trump with a 4-point lead. And remember, 4 years ago, President Biden only won this state by about 12,000 votes. So the margins here are super close. And we really haven't seen what, if any, impact that Democratic convention had last week. Democrats felt it was a rousing success. They expect a little bit of a polling bump. And we'll see if a visit here to Georgia coming out of the convention adds to that. But this campaign knows it's really going to come down to the turnout. That's why the campaign says more than just the candidates visiting here. They've been putting the resources on the ground. They have 50 offices, of course, across just southern Georgia alone. They've been doing events without the candidates, all kinds of events, 500 since May 31st, Gadi.
And obviously there's the swing states that we know about, and then there's the swing states that swing when the election actually happens. What other states are we looking at here that are potentially, I don't know, toss-ups?
Well, I mean, Georgia's interesting, as you laid out. This is President Biden was the first Democrat to win this state since 1992. Arizona was another state that had been comfortably Republican until Biden won it. That was the first since 1996. A state that we're hearing Democrats really flirt with a bit more is Florida. Remember, that had been the battleground state for such a long time. Remember how close it was in the Bush versus Gore election, but had sort of fallen off the map for the Democrats in the last couple cycles. The Harris campaign, I'm still saying the Biden campaign, Gadi, you can understand why. They're looking closely at Florida because if this kind of momentum keeps building, you're going to see a shift from the Biden campaign, which had been narrowing its focus on defense in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, Michigan states they absolutely had to win, to maybe looking at a state, yes, Georgia, but maybe even Florida. There's a spillover in some media markets, and they think maybe if things keep going their way, they can put that one in play as well.
Interesting. With Mar-a-Lago there and everything. And we'll see about that. And
exactly.
Harris is also, I mean, she's been blasted for not doing enough press after the DNC appearance. And now she's taping her first interview tomorrow night. So what can we expect there?
Well, what's interesting, Gadi, she's not doing this alone. She's doing a joint interview with her running mate, Governor Tim Walz. And this is something we would typically see very soon after a presidential candidate announces their running mate. That first sit-down joint interview, we remember Trump did one with J.D. Vance almost immediately after he picked him to join the ticket. You're right. Harris has gotten a lot of criticism, especially from Republicans, for not sitting down with the press since she became the new Democratic nominee. The Harris campaign saying her focus has been on talking to voters. She's doing a lot of that today. But this will be an interview she tapes tomorrow morning with CNN. It's going to air in prime time. And this is going to be an interesting moment to see, especially helping her prepare perhaps for the presidential debate, which we think is still on for September 10th.
Mike Mimley in Savannah tonight. Thank you, Mike. And now to some big business news as the chip maker NVIDIA reported that it doubled its net income and revenue in its fiscal second quarter. But shares of the semiconductor giant fell nearly 2% today in after-hours trading. For more on this, here's CNBC Global Markets reporter Seema Modi.
NVIDIA delivered a second quarter beat on earnings and revenue. However, gross margins fell sequentially. And while a third quarter guidance beat was what the street was expecting, it wasn't as big of a beat that the street was hoping for. On the earnings call, CEO Jensen Huang said the company's transition from general purpose computing to accelerated computing is underway to speed up applications. Huang adds that NVIDIA is driving the cost down of training large language models with more high-performing, cutting-edge chips. He says next-gen AI models take 10, 20, even 40 times more compute. In a way, it speaks to why NVIDIA does see operating expenses going up to develop the next generation of products. As to the role of hyperscalers the role they're playing in driving NVIDIA's data center business, the CFO shared that cloud service providers represented roughly 45% of data center revenue. Geographically, NVIDIA says data center revenue in China grew quarter over quarter, but that China remains competitive due to the U.S. export controls. An inventory crunch does seem to be easing for its current GPU platform, Hopper. CFO says demand is strong and that shipments are expected to increase in the second half of fiscal 2025. An encouraging sign, but shares are moving lower in after-hours trade. For CNBC Business News, I'm Seema Modi.
Seema, thank you. And don't go anywhere. We are just getting started. Up next, what we are learning tonight about the assassination attempt on President Trump. New pictures tonight from the FBI show the guns, explosives, and gear used by the shooter. Plus, a change is coming that the Klamath River Dam has not seen for more than a century. You saw this story first here on Stay Tuned Now, and NBC's Steve Patterson will be here with an important update. And later this hour, using technology of the future to preserve languages of the past. We're going to take you to a coding camp that is teaching students to use AI to preserve indigenous languages. You don't want to miss it, so stay tuned.
Our language is being lost. We want them to start to consider themselves as problem solvers for their community.
Hey, welcome back. There are some new details in the investigation of the assassination attempt against former President Trump that is straight ahead. But first, here are some of the other headlines we're watching tonight. A former politician is convicted of murdering a Las Vegas journalist. Robert Tellis was found guilty today after stabbing Review Journal reporter Jeff German. Now, prosecutors allege he killed German outside of his home in 2022 over some articles the journalist wrote about his conduct as the Clark County public administrator. He is now facing life in prison. And a newly freed Israeli hostage is now out of the hospital. Qad Farhan al-Qadi walked out just a day after being rescued from Gaza. The IDF says he was freed during a complex mission yesterday, and they found him in what they are calling a vast underground tunnel. And United Airlines flight attendants are vowing to strike. Their union voted to authorize that strike with over 99% voting in favor, and they're not walking off the job right now. They're only walking off if negotiations come to a standstill. Over 28,000 flight attendants are picketing across the country, negotiating for things like pay raises, scheduling flexibility, and certain on-ground jobs. And AT&T, they had a 911 outage, but they're saying that it's been resolved. The service problems were reported last night. Some customers reported the phones stuck on SOS mode, but unable to call 911. There were apparent issues connecting to users' cellular networks, and it seems to all be fixed earlier today. And SpaceX has again scrubbed the Polaris launch, this time over bad weather off the Florida coast. That's where the crew would have splashed down at the end of the mission. They were scheduled to launch earlier today, and it's not clear if they're going to attempt a launch again in the next couple coming weeks. But that crew is carrying 4 astronauts into space, including the first spacewalk carried out by an all-civilian crew. And we're getting new information tonight from the FBI on the man who attempted to assassinate former President Trump. The agency is releasing photos of the assault rifle he used, showing how it was broken down and hidden inside of his backpack. Here's NBC News Homeland Security expert Julia Ainsley with more.
Tonight, these photos just released by the FBI showing the weapons and gear used by the man who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump and the way he got up on that roof. This is the semi-automatic rifle he used. The FBI says he likely broke it down and stored it in this backpack as he walked around the rally in Butler last month. And this picture shows the 2 undetonated homemade bombs found in the trunk of his car. The FBI now says he used this air conditioning unit to climb up on the roof where he opened fire. But after nearly 1,000 interviews, the FBI says the motive of the 20-year-old Thomas Crooks still remains unclear.
The FBI has not identified a motive, nor any co-conspirators or associates of Crooks with advanced knowledge of the attack. And I want to be clear, we have not seen any indication to suggest Crooks was directed by a foreign entity to conduct the attack.
Before the event, the FBI says the gunman conducted online searches for campaign events for both Trump and Biden, and the Republican and Democratic conventions.
When this event was announced, the Trump rally was announced early in July, he became hyper-focused on that specific event and looked at it as a target of opportunity.
It seems this attack wasn't very sophisticated. Does that surprise you?
It does not surprise me. Throughout the history of the Secret Service and assassinations and assassination attempts, they're all relatively unsophisticated activities, though they have deadly consequences.
The shooter researched Kennedy's assassination, searching how far was Oswald from Kennedy, the FBI said. While the investigation continues, the FBI said Crooks had no definitive ideology, but they are determining if he wrote anti-Semitic posts on social media.
Julia Ainsley, thank you. And turning now to the extreme heat that has moved on from the Midwest and is hitting the Northeast. At least 51 million people are under heat alerts as temperatures are soaring into the triple digits. Ryan Nobles gives us an update tonight. Ryan?
Hey, Gadi, yeah, it was no doubt a hot one here in Washington, D.C. In fact, it was a record-breaking day of heat. And it was more than just the record being broke on this day. It's also significant because it is the latest in the season that there was record-breaking heat going all the way back to 1980, a sign that the climate is changing and that there are impacts and effects as a result of it. Washington, D.C., not the only city dealing with this significant turn in the temperature this late into the season. Philadelphia, for instance, they were forced to have early dismissals for many of their schools because not every classroom has air conditioning units. And in many cases, this was the first week of school for many of these students. And so it's going to make that start of the school year just a little bit more difficult. In New York City, at the U.S. Open, which is underway, the temperature over 86 degrees. So that meant that they changed the way that the U.S. Open conducts these matches, allowing players more time to rest in between sets so that they aren't at risk of some sort of a heat emergency. Here in Washington, though, it was an official heat emergency. That means Washington, D.C. puts in special precautions to protect the most vulnerable, including the elderly and young people. They use the advice. They say you should check in on your loved ones, even if they are you believe that they're in an air-conditioned space, because those air conditioners can conk out, especially on a day with extreme heat when they're being overused. There's always that chance that something goes wrong, and you can see the signs of heat sickness within just 10 minutes of being exposed to those extreme temperatures. Now, the good news is we expect the heat to move on out of here. It's expected to get a lot cooler. The next 6 to 10 days likely will be much more seasonable temperatures. Gadi?
And like Ryan mentioned there, those high temps stretched from eastern Missouri all the way to New York's Long Island today. And it was sweltering in some areas, especially for this late in August. You are looking at a live picture of Philadelphia. The sun is setting there. Temperatures are still in the high 80s right now. That heat index in the city got all the way up to 99 degrees just in the last few hours. And let's get over to NBC's Bill Cairns. Bill, I understand there's a threat of some storms in some of those same areas like Philadelphia tonight, right?
Yeah, and they'll last into the overnight hours, too. As you mentioned, it's still so hot, and there's a lot of humidity, and that's energy for the air. So even after the sun goes down, there's still a chance of those strong storms. Washington, D.C. just dropped from their heat advisories. A lot of these will be dropped through the overnight hours, and then by the time we get to tomorrow, we'll have very few heat advisories. And it got brutally hot today in the Mid-Atlantic today. Richmond was one of the hottest spots in the country at one point. In Richmond, the heat index was 106. So currently, a lot of areas are in the 90s. A few are still holding on to 100. Yesterday, remember how hot it was? The 115 heat index in Chicago. Today, 83. So that refreshing air is beginning to seep down from the north. It's not going to make a lot of progress into the south, but a few spots will. You notice we still feel like 101 right now in Baltimore. Tomorrow, it'll feel more like 90. So kind of back to average where we should be for this time of year. And then we can thank the Canadian air. Summer, late spring, early fall, you want the Canadian air. If it was middle of winter, you don't want it, because that means it's freezing cold. But this also means dry air, too, so it's really going to knock the humidity out. That's what everyone from about New York City northwards, Ohio, Illinois northwards will notice. In the Mid-Atlantic, it's still going to stay a little bit humid. Today, the temperatures were much lower. Detroit only 81. Northern Michigan was only in the 70s. And as we look towards the end of August, right through the holiday weekend, we're talking highs only in the upper 60s, low 70s, northern New England, New York City, 70s to low 80s. So, some people actually go into the lake and the pool or maybe the beach, maybe a little cooler than you'd actually like. It's unfortunate, but at least it will be sunny and dry. And we mentioned the chance of severe storms. There's a few thunderstorms diving down now in between New York and Philadelphia, a couple outside of D.C. A lot of these have been scattered, though. We haven't really seen much in the way of any severe storms. We still have a chance of those everywhere here in the yellow as we go throughout the overnight hours. That's about 33 million people. So, Gadi, let me get you into your weekend forecast. And I mentioned it's really nice for many. The exceptions down along the Gulf Coast. Houston, Baton Rouge, all the way back to New Orleans. That area is going to be in and out of thunderstorms all Labor Day weekend. That continues into Saturday. We will see isolated strong storms. Notice where it's great. Middle of the country. Rocky Mountains, Four Corner region, heading to the West Coast. Beautiful weather. But unfortunately, it's going to start getting a little toasty, too, in a few spots, especially as we go through the desert Southwest by the time we get to Sunday. And I mentioned this yesterday, and this hasn't changed, Gadi. After we get done with Labor Day weekend, you don't like to see this, that bright red blob on the West Coast for all of next week. We'll talk more about that as it approaches, but that means another late-season heat wave.
I can't wait. Bill Cairns, thank you. And coming up, the largest dam removal project in U.S. history is almost done. A massive win for local native tribes in that area. NBC's Steve Patterson is here to tell us all about it. Plus, you gotta see this. We want you to meet Clementine. That is a rare orange lobster. That's like 1 in 3 million. But Clementine was in a bit of a pinch, as you can see, when she got put in a seafood section of a Long Island Stop and Shop. Thanks to some local people, though, at the store and a local animal rights group, Clementine is now safe and sound back in the sea, apparently doing just great after becoming quite the celebrity. Because of the show, we'll be right back. Hey, welcome back, and here are some of the stories happening out west that we're following right now. A man has been charged with arson in the Thompson fire in Northern California. That happened last month, and it burned over 3,700 acres and destroyed more than a dozen homes. 26-year-old Spencer Grant Anderson was arraigned yesterday and is being held without bail. If convicted, he could face up to 21 years in prison. And a Utah mother of 3 will be tried for her husband's murder. Prosecutors are saying Corey Richens killed her husband with a lethal dose of fentanyl that she put into a cocktail he was drinking. She then wrote a children's book about coping with the grief from her husband's death. And still no arrests have been made in the murder of a doctor whose patients included celebrities, movie stars, and athletes. Police say Dr. Hamid Mashoghi was shot point blank outside of his office in the Los Angeles neighborhood of Woodland Hills last week. Investigators say he was a victim of a targeted killing. And tonight, 4 people are dead and 10 others are hurt after a horrific rollover crash in Texas. NBC's Kathy Park has more.
Officials say the driver is among the dead, and out of the 14 people who were inside this van, only 1 person was wearing a seatbelt, and that person managed to walk away from this horrific crash. Tonight, tragedy on a Texas highway as a van loses control, rolling multiple times and ejecting several passengers during the crash. Emergency responders described arriving to the grim scene.
All these people on the road, on the grass, that is very difficult because we have to be able to keep our composure and be able to treat every single one to the best of our ability.
4 people, including the van's driver, confirmed dead. Nearly all passengers injured. 3 in critical condition. Tonight, the victims have yet to be identified. Officials say the van departed from Florida, crashing around 8 this morning just outside Fort Worth, sending traffic on the Texas highway to a standstill.
I saw a bunch of cop cars and the fire truck, the ambulance, there was a helicopter that was landed, and then I saw the car accident. It was pretty awful.
Officials describing the mass casualty event as avoidable.
Every vehicle has a seatbelt, and if you use that seatbelt, it's going to save lives. And in this case, there was 1 person that wore the seatbelt and was able to walk away.
A critical reminder to buckle up on the road. And the road where this crash took place has since reopened, but officials say that the investigation is still ongoing. Back to you.
And now to a disturbing video out of Texas where kids are seen begging their bus driver to open the windows during 100-degree weather, but the driver refused. And NBC correspondent Valerie Castro spoke with the student's mother, who says her kids were in danger.
Miss, it's hot back here. These children need to breathe. You need to get us home.
A Texas school district and bus driver getting heat after students say they were forced to ride on an unair-conditioned bus with the windows up on a scorching hot day.
Oh my God, bro. We need 18. It's hot.
The incident happening Thursday afternoon in Sealy, Texas, near Houston. NBC's climate team confirming triple-digit temperatures that day. Of the school district's 30 buses, only 6 are equipped with air conditioning, according to the superintendent.
Please just take us home.
Outraged parents calling a news conference.
One thing that we don't play about in Texas, we don't play about our kids. And that's what we're not going to do.
They were just exhausted, like they were hot, red faces. They barely could get off the bus.
Koshina Smith's 2 children, ages 11 and 12, were on the bus. Smith sharing this doorbell camera video in which she says her children arrived home 10 minutes later than normal and in distress.
My son, he ended up taking his shirt off. My daughter is just crying. She just wants to get air. And that's what broke my heart the most.
The superintendent issuing a statement saying the driver did require a student who was sticking his head out the window to put his window up, and the driver did stop the bus to address the student for approximately 2 minutes and 20 seconds, adding during the route, the roof hatches and windows were open. Parents said their children felt the driver was punishing them by driving slowly until they put up the windows, and that she had a policy that no windows should be open to begin with. But the driver says she has no such policy, according to the superintendent, who also says the driver slowed down on the dirt road to not rattle the bus. According to the superintendent, the school's police chief is looking into whether a window policy exists.
I know they're children, but they were put in a dangerous situation.
NBC News has not heard back from the union that represents drivers, but the district confirming she's been placed on a different bus route. But several parents and their legal representation are calling for more.
The school needs to take this very seriously because we are, and we are planning to pursue every legal recourse or angle that's available for us.
This bus driver do not need to be driving nobody's children nowhere.
And soon salmon will start swimming freely along the Klamath River. And that is a big deal because all of it is stemming from the largest dam removal project in U.S. history happening right now, right here in Northern California and Oregon. Crews are essentially breaking down 4 giant dams at the Klamath River this week. The river was historically home to troves of salmon, but for decades the dams cut them off from a whopping 420 miles of tributaries and streams where they had laid their eggs. And now there's a chance that salmon will return to their spawning grounds for the first time in a century. Let's bring in NBC's Steve Patterson. Steve, this is such a long time coming for the tribes that have been fighting for this. You've seen this in person.
Yeah.
What's this like?
Yeah, the smile is real, man. This is a really big deal to these tribes because imagine this, right? This was the thing that everybody you knew and everybody they knew lived off of. The salmon in this river, in that specific spot between the California-Oregon border, on that stretch of river, was the 3rd largest producer of salmon in the entire country. All of these tribes made their living off of this. It's how they trade. It's how they ate. And they respected the nature, which is why it was so spiritual significant to them and so culturally significant to them. But it was also fiscally significant to these tribes because it was the way that they lived. And then, you know, come 1918, something like that, corporations come in. They obviously want to power homes nearby. So they build these huge dams, 4 of them stacked up, and it basically just kills all the salmon. I mean, there are still some, obviously, into 2000, 2002, 2003. But a lot of them start dying off because you're literally like suffocating the ecosystem. And it was years and years of fighting before they could bring that back. And to have it now, to be able to say that in maybe a few years, we'll start to see those same salmon that sustain these tribes for generations, it's a really big deal.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So fast forward to today, like what's this going to look like? Are we talking like massive explosions? Are we talking kind of a gradual process? What are we going to see in the next week?
Both. Like we did a story for you, which was like so cool. Thank you for taking our story.
Cool story. Yeah.
But like part of what we wanted to do is like we knew there were going to be literal like demolition explosions, and we're like, yeah, we have to get there for Gadi while this is happening. We missed it, so the explosions already happened. What's happening now is like huge excavators, like machinery punching holes in the dam. Most of it is already gone. Like all of it, I think there's like maybe 2 of them that they're taking down now. And then when it's all removed, which is like sooner than I thought, we were predicting maybe October, November, it will look like nature.
Wow.
Like dams never stood there. Like the dirt that the dams were like fused to was never there. It should literally look just like a painting, like human intervention never existed.
Okay, that can't come soon enough.
I know.
And I know that the last time you covered this, there was this possibility that this was going to, I don't know, be some very big momentum towards a bigger movement. Is that what we're still seeing?
Yeah, there's like been 2,000 dams removed across the United States. Most of that in the last 25 years or so. It's a huge movement. This is part of a much larger thing where they're learning that these dams essentially suffocate the nature out of these places. And the tribes that are, obviously use the rivers to sustain themselves really respect that nature and really sort of want to be in tune with it. And when they can't, it's a big problem for everybody. So this was a 25-year struggle until today. It started like in the early 2000s, all culturally native-led. These are people that have been protesting day in and day out on multiple rivers in situations just like that. This just happens to be the biggest. But the fact that it's spurring growth across the country, it's a huge deal for environmentalists, and it should be a huge deal for all of us, because it really means that like we're starting to recognize that nature and taking care of the planet is important. And I think that, you know, if we start applying that to more things, we could be here a whole lot longer.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
If only, right? And I cannot wait to see this river restored. Yeah. I cannot wait to see you on a boat in the middle of the Klamath.
Buy another story from us. I will be right back there.
Done.
You got it.
Coming up soon. Steve Patterson on the Klamath with a picturesque background.
You heard it here first.
It's happening soon.
All right.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Thanks, man.
And coming up, guys, the summer of the Olympic Games is not over yet. The Paralympics is just starting up after a very, very impressive opening ceremony today. We're going to tell you all about it coming up after the break. And welcome back. Let's take a quick look around the world. The Telegram CEO is being charged in France. Prosecutors allege Pavel Durov, his messaging app enabled organized crime, and he's refused to cooperate with authorities there. They even say the Telegram was complicit in offenses related to child sex abuse and drug trafficking. And Durov, his bail has been set at 5 million euros, and he can't leave France. He was first questioned by French prosecutors on Saturday. He's facing 10 years in prison if convicted. The police in India fired tear gas and water cannons at protesters today as they continue to demand justice for a student doctor raped and killed at a government-run hospital earlier this month. Thousands marched in Kolkata demanding the resignation of a top state official who they accuse of mishandling that case. The attack caused national outrage, calling for better safety for women at hospitals. A police volunteer was arrested for the crime, and now federal police are continuing that investigation. And a powerful typhoon has started dumping rain on parts of Japan and has already killed at least one person. Nearly 1 million people have been forced to evacuate, and Toyota has closed all of its factories there. Officials have issued their highest category of warnings possible and say they are preparing for a storm that could produce a large-scale disaster. And it was an all-out food fight today in one small Spanish town. Thousands throwing tomatoes in the streets of Buñol as the annual La Tomatina Festival returned. The streets there basically painted red as people relished in those mushy tomato surroundings. And the fun in Paris is not over yet. The Paralympic Games kicked off with a spectacular opening ceremony today. NBC News correspondent Emily Akeda has more on the show and the Team USA stars to watch.
Paris promised another show-stopping opening ceremony and delivered with dancing, fireworks, and even a mascot-covered car to kick off the Paralympic Games.
Athletes and fans from more than 150 countries are converging on this historic street, the Champs-Élysées, and take a look at this. Team USA arriving right now. USA!
Led by two flag bearers, wheelchair basketball's Steve Sirio and sitting volleyball's Nikki Nieves.
Everything and anything is possible. Just put your best foot forward.
And making history tonight, the largest ever refugee Paralympic team. Over the next 11 days, 4,400 athletes from around the world will face off across 22 sports, from para-equestrian at Versailles to wheelchair fencing at the Grand Palais. The Eiffel Tower, meantime, trading sand for turf for blind soccer. Played using a ball with bells inside so players can locate it.
USA! USA!
Among the 225 members of Team USA, legends like swimmer Jessica Long and wheelchair racer Tatiana McFadden, competing at her 7th Paralympics. Team USA's men's wheelchair basketball team going for its 3rd straight gold.
The most influential moment of my life and my athletic career, it wasn't the wins, it was the day that I found wheelchair basketball. Hopefully when people watch us compete, it inspires them to start their impossible.
A powerful message with the world watching. Emily Ikeda, NBC News, Paris.
Emily, thank you. And before we go, it's time for the future of everything, where we're going to look at the future of school and whether it's possible to keep kids off their phones all day long. And AI is helping some tribes in South Dakota preserve their endangered native language. We're going to have that coming up for you right after the break, so stay tuned. Welcome back. Time now for the future of everything. And tonight we've got more on the future of education. And school is back in session, and some states are starting the year off with some new rules. These are going to be quite the fight. They are trading phones in for pouches, and they are locking up those devices during the day. NBC News correspondent Rahima Ellis takes us to the classrooms where it's all going down.
Everywhere you look, kids are on their cell phones, but now there's growing pressure to ban them in schools.
It's for the benefit of students.
Brockton, Massachusetts high school principal Kevin McCaskill is getting a shipment of 3,700 pouches, one for each of his students to lock their cell phones in during the school day.
Why is it a good idea for kids to put their cell phones away while they're in school?
We can get the focus back on education as opposed to a student's social media feeds, text messages from other students, or even sometimes their parents saying, oh, you know, what do you want for dinner?
At least 7 of the nation's largest school districts have rules against using cell phones during the school day, including bans in Los Angeles, Cleveland, and Orange County, Florida. 4 states have enacted statewide cell phone restrictions: Florida, Louisiana, Virginia, and South Carolina. California and New York State could soon join that list. While not all parents are on board, the shift comes as research shows phone-free schools can reduce distractions and cyberbullying, enhance focus on learning, and improve student well-being. Today, the Surgeon General warning parents face additional stress managing their children's phone use.
Many parents are struggling with tech and social media. Those are the number 1 and 2, causes of stress that parents cite when they talk about parenting being harder now compared to a generation ago.
Grace Catella, an 8th grader in Framingham, welcomes her school's restrictions.
You need to see the big picture and see how it really, how it helps you learn and how it helps the school.
Her mother, Jennifer, believes it reduces anxiety and encourages socialization.
The students are more engaged with each other at recess. They're actually talking to each other. They're doing activities rather than kind of going into their own circle and going onto their phone.
Some families are concerned about not being able to reach their child during school hours for safety and health reasons. Administrators, however, encourage families to call the school office. Gadi?
I remember the good old days when phones didn't even fit in your pocket. Rahima Ellis, thank you. And finally tonight, how one camp is blending tech and tradition by using AI, and students there are learning how to code to help preserve their native language and culture. NBCU Academy's Clarissa Melendez stopped by the camp to see how it works.
At this South Dakota summer camp, students are learning both code and culture. The Lakota AI Code Camp is a 3-week program for Native teens. Here, they learn how to use AI to preserve their endangered Lakota language.
My name is Tatanka Khahi. It means slow buffalo. The slowest buffalo in the herd has to be the wisest to survive.
Tatanka Khahi was a student at the camp 2 years ago. Today, he helps teach the classes.
Now we're going to save it. It's much more than just a coding camp. Without it, I feel I wouldn't be in college or even pursuing the computer science degree.
The camp was co-founded in 2021 by data scientist Mason Grimshaw and researcher Michael Runningwolf,
to gain agency over their language journey,
whose work is dedicated to revitalizing native languages using AI and virtual reality.
I was super lucky to go to MIT. When I was there, I saw code for the first time ever.
Recent data shows Native Americans hold only 0.4% of bachelor's and master's degrees, and only 0.1% of doctorate degrees in computer science. Grimshaw said his great-grandma inspired him to create the coding camp. She had been forced to attend a government-funded boarding school that punished her for speaking Lakota.
She was taught and had internalized the idea that you don't want to speak Lakota, that it is not the right way to be.
Runningwolf estimates the Lakota population is around 200,000 today. However, a recent study shows only 2,200 people speak Lakota as their first language.
Our language is being lost. We want them to start to consider themselves as problem solvers for their community.
The Lakota have a deep relationship to the land. Students go on nature walks, document medicinal plants, then plug their cultural importance into an app they're designing.
Students are going to walk out of here with a mobile web application that leverages an AI model.
However, there are challenges with programming indigenous languages.
There's as many words in these languages as there are stars in the universe. And so this breaks the algorithm, and that's sort of the core of our fundamental research.
But for the Lakota community, the challenges are worth the gains.
It allows them to say, I can do this. I can be in this space because I've seen others like me who are in this space.
I would like to see a future where this type of class is in every high school in Lakota communities. Yeah, we're just going to see if that is the thing.
Most of all, students come away from the camp empowered.
Meeting a lot of other Native kids, it really helped me reconnect with my culture.
So we need to stay who we are, be who we are, and be proud of who we are. After all, we are the original scientists.
Original scientists, Clarissa Melendez, thank you so much. That does it for us tonight. I'm Gadi Schwartz. We'll see you here tomorrow, but until then, stay tuned now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.